Okay, you're not 100% lost. You're only 87.5% lost. Okay, Aaron? So let me try to help. First of all, this top one would be 375,000 what you had issued times the 8 cents per share. I actually should have written that down for you. So that one's not a problem. If you hear puppies in the background, it's because I have puppies and they're arguing. So that one would be taken care of. So this one is 30,000 debit and $30,000 credit. So that one's not bad. This one's good. Excellent. The next one's a little bit confusing. So that was B. We issued okay, that was B. So now no wonder you guys are lost. The A's and B's and everything are all screwed up here. So this is B. No wonder you're confused. This is C. This is D. This is E. This is F. This has to come down. No wonder everybody you're confused. And oh my goodness. G. And then you have closings. H. And I hope that isn't how everybody's came out. Wow. So let's see if that helps. Let's go back up here. Okay, so B you got. That's good. You broke that down good. Now we're at C. And C, you sold all of the treasury stock for $26 per share. So that was 25,000. And you got $26 a share for them. So that multiplies out to $650,000. So you got cash of $650,000. Let's put that down right now. That one you know. So that one's good. But treasury stock you sold. So how much was that treasury stock worth? If I look here, it's worth $450,000. So that's all I can take out of treasury stock. The rest of it, the 450, 650 minus 450, $200,000 now goes into additional paid-in capital. Does that help? Because you can't sell more than you have, and you only had $450,000 worth. Now your stock dividend, you got the 450 right. You declared a 4% stock dividend, and the market price was at 25. And then these are a little bit confusing. So let's look at that. So the common stock is 375 plus 750 equals 450. That means you had 450,000 stocks. You multiply that times the 4% dividend, and you're going to distribute 18,000 stocks. And each one of those stocks is worth that $25 market share. That comes to a grand total of $450,000. Okay, now again, you're doing the same thing. Your stock is written at par. So I can't I can't go over the par amount for what's going into common stock, okay, or the distributor. It's distributable. So that's 18,000 times $20. That's the par. And that comes to 18,000 times the 20, $360,000. So that's how much I can put into the distributable, but I have excess there. So the rest goes into paid-in capital, and that's $90,000. So that takes care of that one. That one's a little bit tricky. You have to remember you can't go over what the cost or the par is of the stock. So the next one is we're going to distribute this. And when we distribute it, we only distribute that $360,000. I'm trying to hush my puppy up. So that means we have 360 debited to get that out. And we're going to put that into common stock. So that takes care of that one. You did good on that. You've got F is you bought treasury stock at $19 each. And how many we buy? 30,000. So you have that one right. That's good. Now this one I'm not quite sure what happened. So let's look at that. That's got to be 10 cent per share cash dividend on common stock. So how much do we have here? That's what we have to decide. So you have to calculate how much stock you have to get this dividend number. And that makes it kind of dicey. So let me help. We started with 375. We issued $75,000 more. We distributed 18,000 from the stock dividend. Then that added up to 468. And then finally, we purchased 30,000 of those back. So we had to subtract that for the amount out. So we have 438,000 shares of stocks available for this dividend. So now if I multiply 438 times that 10 cents, I come up with the 43,800, which is what goes right here. And 43,800. So now you're good. And the only other issue we have to go down to is your retained earnings, and we're closing out the accounts. So it says close the income summary, credit a balance, and you did that well. And then you want to close the two dividend accounts. So what were my stock dividends and my other dividends? Well, this one was 3,800, and this one was 450, as I remember correctly. You add those together, you're going to come up with 493,800. You were just off $1 or one. So, and that will take care of that. Now, I know that's a little bit confusing, but it's kind of interesting to watch how things change up back and forth. So this should get you through here. And not sure why we got two of these down here, but we're going to make them go away so don't confuse you, okay? Good. So that's that page. Now, once you get this done, you can do your retained earnings. So now, let's look at this. Now we've got 33. This is what we started with. This was our net income from right here. This becomes our dividends. So you're going to change that one. And this one was good. And if I do 43,800 here, I'm not sure if this is working now. Increase in retained earnings. So this would equal this minus this minus this to give you 631,200. And there's still something slightly off. Okay, there we've got it. So you begin with this. You add, subtract, subtract, and have an increase of 631,200. You add these two numbers together and come up with the ending retained earnings. That makes sense? Now, what are we going to do with that? I'm going to take that one to the equity section, and I'm going to put this thing all together, okay? So you have common stock. You have paid in capital of, and that one's, see, this is 1,215,000. So there you go. 1,215,123. and you had excess paid-in capital of 200,000 from over here on this side. These are the amounts that you should be using. Oh my goodness, my numbness is off. Hold on. So now I have total paid-in capital. I need to add this all up. So I have to equal SUM, and we're going to add it all up. That gives you 10,775. And now we add those retained earnings, which were right here, or 34. And I showed you what it should have been right here. So you want to do 34, 231, 200. And you're going to add that. And you're going to subtract 570,000. And that should give you, let's make sure these numbers are right. So now you have 34,231. You're going to subtract the 570. And you should come up with the right total. 33,66200. And you see how things got a little bit wonky when this transferred. These are the numbers you should have had and should have used here. So the 3360, the 1,125,000, the 43,800, and the 450. And that should have given you this number, which then transferred to here. And you should have used these numbers given here to complete this. So give this a whirl and see if it helps at all. Sorry this is so long.